And
Are we recording right now?
I always am recording.
We record the gab.
We gab.
Because you do it. You play it at the beginning of the episode.
History, I'd like to follow me down the rabbit hole. History, I'd like to, frankly, I want to know.
Hello, and welcome to HILF History. I'd like to fuck with Dawn Brody. I'm Dawn Brody. This is our 20th episode, the end of our first season, and hot damn friends, what a ride. Now, when I started this podcast, I had no idea how to set up my microphone, stumbled through editing, and learned the process of distribution from scratch. Since then, I've read 26 books, watched dozens of documentaries, and had the pleasure of HILFing 17 incredible guests. They included comedians, writers, musicians, authors, a painter, a bartender, besties, a neighbor, and the love of my life. We went around the world together and discussed wars and monsters and mysteries and witches and murder and pirates. My God, right? And during the course of these incredible conversations, we'd have all the incredible conversation stuff. The tangents, the realizations, the bloopers. And sometimes it killed me to cut it out of the episode, but I edited with some comfort knowing that these gems would not be lost, just restrung. Now, in the spirit of a good orgy, think of this episode as a pearl necklace. Each gem is strung together without clutter or segue or explanation or introduction. And you'll hear the following clips in the same order their episodes were released, but that is about all the order you should expect. We cover time travel, the existence of God, how long cats can live, and if our great-great-grandchildren will cancel us for eating a chicken nugget. Sometimes silly, sometimes personal, sometimes deeply insightful. Welcome to the orgy. Now drop your pants and let's get started.
My mind has been fucked. I have learned so much, and I am going to be telling everyone that Frankenstein is not actually his name. It's Frankenstein's creature who read Paradise Lost.
It's really important to me that you do that. I think I'm going to have like a whole set of t-shirts made that are like, pardon the intrusion, but my name is the creature. And then it will just be like a handful of snobs to be like, what is this? And be like, okay, first of all, he's not Frankenstein's monster. And also we read Paradise. It's like,
this is amazing. This is your merch for your podcast.
My merch.
Yeah, you could just have cool quotes like that about.
Pardon the intrusion. Call me the creature.
Yeah. We just came up with your merch line.
I'll give you a percentage.
And we did it just drinking coffee, no opium. So.
Oh, there was a little opium in your coffee. Surprise! Have fun driving home. Oh, have you ever fucked a criminal?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever fucked a criminal because they were a criminal?
No, I did not know until latter times.
Okay.
Do I count as a criminal? Have people that have fucked me now can answer that same way?
I don't know. Does a DUI count?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I don't think so. I think that you're only a criminal if you are currently wanted.
No.
Because you can be reformed. You served your time. You're an
ex-criminal.
It's kind of bad.
You know,
it's kind of naughty.
It's just very naughty. I certainly didn't rob any banks.
Not yet. There's still time.
Not yet. And you know what? Times are tough, girl. Times are tough.
I'm going to give you this book.
You are?
Yeah, it's got all my dumb notes in the margin. But yeah,
I won't get rid of it. Because when you have to pitch the show as the road movie.
I'll be like, what the hell?
I think it's a really good idea.
It is a really good idea.
And it's young, not me. Based on, but I wouldn't be in it. It would be like one of those three named English actors.
One of those, you know Daniel Day-Lewis, he'd do it.
Yeah.
No, he's been.
No. But the chick, the one that, like, she hosted Saturday Night Live, and I'm like, who is that?
Oh, I know. I'm already
Her
getting
name is
told.
like Trinity Joy Division or something.
Trinity Joy Division.
I kept thinking, who is it? Maybe I haven't seen The Crown. Maybe she was the woman from The Crown.
History has this way of not allowing you to see things in the way they were happening at the time. And it is one of the things I like to help with. And here's something that may give you some perspective. I don't think we need to let anybody off the hook for the record, but it helps with our understanding of perhaps where they came from. Climate change is a huge issue. And there is a possibility that in 100 years in the future, the burning hot, fiery skies, the lava lakes, the worst case scenarios that many people are painting for us have transpired. Okay. And an individual living in this ugly ass bubble underground with a gas mask and their frail kids who hear stories of what the sun used to look like and have visions of what water may have tasted like would wonder how you or I could have driven those cars.
Yeah.
Didn't we know? And yes, we knew. And don't you and I know what fossil fuels do? And we can be like, yeah, weren't you for the environment? I really was. I mean, I really was. And yeah, there were people that were handcuffing themselves to trees and filtering their urine to drink. But I have a kid and a job, and I'm kind of hoping that everybody figures it out and that we get more inventions. But yeah, I drive a car. I drove a car. I didn't even drive an electric car, and I didn't even carpool. And sometimes I drive just because I liked to drive. Oh God.
Definitely. I am not vegan or vegetarian. I really support that a lot, but I think that is the mindset of a lot of my vegan friends that I've talked about, is they can kind of see a future where everything is more plant-based and people are like the barbaric thought of us in, having pigs or having whatever slaughtered and we eating them. And I think that could be a reality too, you know?
And your cocky ass hologram loving great grandkid comes up to you and is like, ew, great grandma Meryl, is this a picture of you eating a chicken nugget? And you can be like, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. You don't know anything about,
Yes, if there's one thing I want to be canceled for, that in like 300 years from now, it is eating a chicken wing, like a dripping chicken wing.
Is it okay if I turn the fan on the low setting?
No.
Do you hear it?
You mean, what do you mean?
The ceiling fan on low.
I turned it off because I can hear it.
Okay.
Are you uncomfortable?
I'm not, but I have a thing with still air. It's fine. I'll be fine for an hour.
I have a thing with still air. I feel like we've been together for 11 years. There's still fun things to learn about you all the time.
Yeah, you turn it off. You can hear it.
I know.
Oh, well, it's on medium, too. It doesn't matter. Just go. We're going to be fine. I might end up in my skivvies by the end of this because I'm so friggin' hot.
Oh, I plan on you getting in your undies by the end of this. If I can't do HILF with my number one F.
That's true.
Without something coming off.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to remain focused.
And the way that my parents found out was in a letter that I made some joke, and I have very much the same sense of humor about, I'm very, sexual with my, raunchy with my sense of humor. Had not actually had penetrative sex at that point. I just was joking with a fellow gay friend in a note where I had said I had had a really bad day and I just needed it fucked out of me by a really hot guy. That's the note my parents found, and that's how they found out that I was gay. Fuck. So they were super chill about the gay thing. They were just like, it's cool that you're gay. Are you just like a giant whore? Like, that's the problem.
Also, here's what the other thing I love about the history of the cinnamon in general. I love the fact that you and I are like, oh, like, oh my God. Like I started this pod. This is episode 8. You'd think that I'd be like, don't drink throughout the episode or you will burp and gulp throughout the whole thing. What are the Scientology critters?
Oh, not Zardoff. That's Oz.
That's just how I test you to see if you're a Scientologist. I don't know either. I wouldn't know if you got it right, but I feel.
You mean the Thetan Threes?
I'm not gonna air. You know that I can't air this. Like I can
We're
say,
Scientologists. We test you.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Like, what would you think would be a worse group in LA to just casually shit on? I mean, liberals, maybe just liberals in general, right. Just like liberals. Because you can still shit on vegans because
that's just dumb.
They're just so tired too. They're like, go ahead.
I don't have the strength to.
I don't have the strength to
put
fight.
up my case.
Oh, cinnamon. I have no idea where I left off. Shelby Young.
Yeah.
If you and I left this room and went directly to a tattoo parlor, what tattoo would you get?
Ooh. Well, you already have the skull and crossbones because that would be my original go-to, but maybe like a little golden doubloon.
Ooh, that's smart.
In black ink. I only get black ink tattoos, but like a little doubloon. Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And just a way to up your value.
Yeah, exactly, right? Now I'm worth so much more.
All right, Shelby, let me hear your best R.
Okay. Arg.
Oh, that was good. There was a little G on the end.
Yeah, little G on just R, just R.
No, I like the G. I think
Okay.
it's I mean, it's like your thumbprint. Your R is all your own.
Right? Mine's a little bit like I stub my toe or my thumb or something. Arg!
I like it. Are you from here?
No.
No, where are you originally from?
Well, I split my childhood between Silver Spring, Maryland, and a place called, get ready, hold your hat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be that.
Okay.
It's called Plantation, Florida. So it's not only Florida, it's maybe the most racially insensitive name for a city.
Wow. Plantation, Florida. What
Yeah.
was your high school mascot?
The Paladins. I actually went to, there was 2 high schools in Plantation because there were so many people that lived there. And there was Plantation, and then there was South Plantation. So I'm in the less progressive part of a place called Plantation.
So the people of Plantation.
They should
would
have
be looking at those.
yeah, exactly. The red state guys over there. That was me.
Wow. There's a Romeo Juliet tale there, there somewhere.
Now, this high school has a bell that rings, starts at 7:35 in the morning, goes off every 42 minutes. It's like a drinking game around here. Every time it rings, we smoke.
Oh, okay.
But if we can.
It is like my high school.
One time I counted the doors in this apartment.
Yeah.
There's 12 doors in this apartment.
Ooh.
It's a 2-bedroom apartment with 12 doors. What's happening?
Are there just a lot of closets?
Closets. Yeah.
Good. Well, you've always got a place to go.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in here and they're going to go grabbing at you, good luck.
Yeah, I'll just slam door after door. It'd be good for a farce. We could do a farce in my hallway.
Every third door, you should just make a fake exit, just like a painted mirage of a New York,
a subway going
yeah.
down. Come on, baby.
Oh, that's when you just wish for somebody to break in. We are hearing the subtle meowing of our friend Sophie. How old is Sophie?
She's 11.
Oh, that's a young kitty. It is.
I don't know. How old are your cats?
No, cats live to be 20, dude.
Yeah, they could.
No, maybe not Sophie. It doesn't sound like you're optimistic that Sophie's going to make
she's
it
a good
to 20.
girl. No, she should. She's a good cat.
If you could go forward in time, how far forward would you go, and what are you most curious about?
I would probably go. I want to say I would. So I wouldn't want to go so far that everything was just anathema to me. So I wouldn't want to go 1,000 years into the future. I think it would be cool if somehow there was some exercise where you could kind of peer that far into the future.
But not be there.
But not be there, because I feel like at that point it would be like my grandma trying to use an iPhone, where I'd just be like, I don't know what to do with this.
It tastes weird.
Yeah. But I think maybe 100 years in the future.
21, 22. It's a good year.
Also, I feel like if I were able to make it 100 years into the future, they'd just be like, take this shot, and now you have an extra 75 years on your life, and then, after that 75 years, weigh it out again,
I'm afraid I want to live a long time. I think I'll be 125 years old, and you'll have to drag me out of here kicking and screaming. I'll be like, no, there's more party in me. That being said, if you were to suddenly tell me that either I wasn't going to die or I could live another 100 years from now, I think I hope this isn't true, but I've been me for a while, and I'd probably just tone it down. I'd probably just get lazier. I think sometimes the reason I get up and I work out and I drink in the morning with my friend Rashid is because the tick, 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 tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. And maybe because I've always studied history, I feel pretty aware of the passage of time. I don't have a lot of anxiety about it. I have no anxiety about getting older. I don't love that my neck is doing what it's doing, but I'm not, but I have no general anxiety about being older, a reasonable fear of death. I think that seems fairly human. But I do think that it is a big motivation for me to do things and to feel things and to risk things is because time is running out.
Yeah.
And I wonder if time wasn't running out or if it was running more slowly, if I would do more and be more optimistic or if I'd just sleep in.
That is a good point. I wouldn't want to live forever per se.
500 years would be kind of great.
Yeah. To be able to track those long-term changes would be amazing.
Well, because now I'm 43, and the things that are starting to get to me now for the first time in my life, I do say things like, I don't think I can be an astronaut. I think I may be able to go to space, but I think I'm not at time to be an astronaut. I'm not very good at math, and And like Olympic figure skater, so damn it. We're really, even though it was never that realistic, there was something in me when I was 30 that was still like, fucking, I can go to NAT. If I want to, I could just study it and go. And now I'm like, I don't think you can do that. I don't have time to make a website. If you could go back in time to any point in history, where would you go and what would you do?
God. You know, that's a really interesting question. But like, I have to be honest. I think I'd want to go meet Jesus. And the reason I want that, okay, isn't because I think he's going to give me some logic, or I kind of want to know if, like, what if I said, okay, I want to go back in time and I want to meet Jesus. And then they put me in the portal and it's like, and then I get to wherever I'm going and there's just nobody there. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute here. There is no Jesus. Like, I kind of, there's so much war and death and hate and negativity that comes out of religion. I kind of want to know, like, was this dude really around? And then if he was, that may sound ignorant. It's like, everyone's like, he's definitely was here. But it's like, was he a carpenter? Like, did he do these things, these stories? I don't know. It all seems like bullshit to me. It just seems like really great fairy tale bullshit things that make people go, I won't kill someone.
Now, but if you get there and there's this like dude who like sends a lightning bolt through your heart and you're like, fuck, Messiah, I get it.
Well, then I would come back with a renewed understanding.
Do you know what? I took my daughter to a funeral a week ago.
Wow.
Her first time in a Catholic church.
I remember being a kid.
She's 3.5 years old, and I try very hard to answer her honestly, and we're always respectful, but just kind of clear. So we're there, and of course, there's men in dresses and hats, and there's this dead guy fucking hanging from the ceiling. This dead, half dead, half naked man with blood coming out of his hands and his feet. And she's 3.5 and it's her first time. And she was
horror.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
And so she naturally knows, she was like, Mama? And I was like, yes. Okay. His name is Jesus. And here's how I explained it to her in the church, trying to use brevity and respect. I said, he is a really important guy. I said, for the people who are here, he's a really, really important guy. He's a human being like you and me, but he's also the Son of God. And we had talked very briefly about what God was, that God was invisible and people, blah, blah. And I said, and I'm looking at her and I said, and he was murdered up there. And that was both the best and the worst thing that's ever happened to these people. And she was like, okay. So then we sit through the funeral. She sits there and the priest says this thing and everyone starts to go. And she goes, Mama. And I said, yes. She points up at Jesus and she goes, is he going to come alive at the end?
It's such a scary thing.
Because she heard all this reliving and revitalization. And I said, yes, that's the idea. I said, yeah, that's the idea, is that he's going to come back to life. And she goes, like a mummy? And I said, yes, kind of. Because that means, fuck, yeah, that's kind of. And we permeated on that for a while, and then she moved on. My God. I don't know how people do it. And they talk to me about, like, I don't know how I'm going to explain gay. I'm like, really, bitch? Have you taken an agnostic child to a church lately? And you think fucking gays? These two guys like each other. The same guy and a girl like each other. These two guys like each other the same way. Boom, bam, done. This dead man with blood coming out of him, hanging from the ceiling, and all this. You know how long that took? Oh, is that a helicopter? Hold.
Perfectly timed helicopter.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear stuff. You may know this too. Way better in my headphones than I do like in real life.
Oh yeah, like that's the first thing you learn, right? When you're on set. I remember that. Like just talking shit about the sound guy, and people were like, "Stop! He can hear you." And I'm like, "I'm whispering. There's no way he can hear me. That piece of shit." Blah blah blah. And then then you put the headphones on. You're like, "Oh, he heard every word I said because I just heard a pin drop on the other side of the room."
110%. And also, like, I going to the bathroom. When you're wearing a lop, it's always like, you want to turn it off, but also it's usually attached to your pants.
Yeah.
So regardless, it's going to have to come off. But then if it's all taped up under your bra, which is often the case, then you've got to unhook a wire of some sort so that you can. But now you've got this wire.
Dawn in the bathroom, take 3.
Exactly.
It's also the public. It's like they can't. It blows their mind that someone could actually have different. Like, they expect a comic to only have comedic thoughts at all times. It's like, well, no, we have real lives, and
which
whatever,
I think is I think that's also why people get so frustrated when comics speak to serious things or make really well crafted jokes about serious subjects. That people will say, you must be making fun of it. You are a comedian and you are talking about this thing, which means you're mocking it. You're making fun of it. You're making light of it, and it's difficult as a creator of comedy to try to articulate that I am not ridiculing the things that I'm talking about. I am, because I am encasing it in humor does not mean I am diminishing it in any way.
Yes, absolutely.
So I would listen to true crime podcasts because I felt like they kept me appropriately unnerved. It's like you should be scared. It's bad. Like there's a bad guy out there, but I didn't have to deal with the actual real bad guy that was, dealing with the thing. But they'd get me on this, like, and then the girl gets, but they'd spend too much time fucking jib-John about what they did that weekend, and I get like, quit the fucking ship and talk about how he wore her skin like a dress. You brought me here with the serial killer who wears her skins like a dress, and now you're talking about your latte still, So I'm always like, as a podcast creator and an editor, I'm always simultaneously like, of course this conversation is interesting, and then I get like, get to the anal probe. I do want to mention your husband, Joe Roche.
Yes.
Because he's a babe. And because one of my favorite things that you do, and all of these amazing, spectacular things that you do, are the birthday videos that you and Joe were doing, I want to say every day, for a while there during COVID.
We sure did.
Green screen, costumes, soundtracks, these just beautiful acts of love, just like dedicated to the people you knew online. You guys were so fucking funny and so fun to watch, and I just think that he is fantastic. And Tilden the cat, I'm going to give a shout out. I don't know if Tilden listens.
He listens religiously.
But I wanted to shout out.
Meow. Those were so fun to do because A, how can I not perform for 2 seconds? I would shrivel and die.
Oh my God, die.
But B, our theory was like, well, we'd be going to their birthday party if the world wasn't shut down. We'd be at their party, so the least we can do is send them a little video. And it started as just an inside thing with my family members, and then my sister saw it. She's like, can you do one for my husband too? And then a friend saw it. I was like, can you do it for my husband? And then it just became, we were off to the races. Then it became an addiction for me. But my husband, delicious Joe Roach, was still going to work every day because he's a stage manager over at Asylum Productions, the famous Sharknado people. So he would come home exhausted from a long day of COVID prevention and, blowing all sorts of sanitizers off all over props. And I'd be like dressed as a wolf. And he'd be like, what are we doing? I'm like, okay, here's the game. All right, here's the thing. He would just come home and just see these costumes laid out and like, oh my God, why are there 9? I'm like, we have to do 9 videos tonight, babe. We did 169 videos in 1 year.
Oh my God. And it was just delight. It was pure joy. It was just a bright white beam of joy and love in just this awful time. And it was so much fun to watch. It was so great.
I had such a great time.
Well, what's your favorite curse word in English?
I think I prefer shit.
Yeah, shit's a good one. That's my friend Ryan's favorite. It's a good utility word.
I prefer shit.
Well, I can't wait to get
it took me a while to learn to be easy with the other one.
To be fluent. Oh, sure.
Fluent with F.
Oh, the F word is tough for a lot of us.
Also because I always had young kids around me, and I had to be careful not to say it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But with shit, you can't say it even in front of kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a dull knife.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's not going to kill them.
No.
No, exactly. And your father demonstrated some particular inclusion at a time when they were being excluded that I know you said left a mark on you.
What happened was there were 3 Zoroastrian schools. My father sent my brothers to the Zoroastrian school. And he sent me to the Zoroastrian elementary school. But one of the things he said, when you're living in a country, there is no majority and minority. Everyone is included. And if you don't learn from childhood to be inclusive, that's when your mind accepts separations. That's why you're going to go to these schools to learn all about them.
Such wisdom.
And I remember I went to my father, I said, do you know that, my friend, she's Jewish? I said, of course I know. I'm his best friend to her father.
Yeah.
I said, what? I said, yeah, her father is my best friend. Why do you think I let you go to their house all the time?
Yeah.
If I didn't know them, you wouldn't be able to go. And I realized that what he was saying, he really meant it.
Yeah, demonstrating.
He really demonstrated that it didn't matter.
Yeah.
When you're in the same country,
yeah.
You are the same.
Yeah. Oh, cheers, and huge love. Every single person that is here, I love you. I love you. I'm just so glad that we're in this room together because, man, I like doing a podcast, but look at this. You know? I mean, look at all of your faces. This is so incredible. And as Sean mentioned, we are in a room together, and it is good if it sounds like we are in a room together. So feel free to get up, to chat, get yourself a beer. They're over there for a reason. Eat your snacks. Yes, indeed. The reason I started HILF is because I just love this fucking stuff. Right? And you guys may have noticed if you listen to an episode or two, like I really, really do. And if I didn't have a podcast, I would just be spouting this contextless shit, right? At parties and over craft services tables and like on road trips to people with varying degrees of interest. And so this has really saved my ass, you know? And I love it. And I also love it because the thing I love most about history is what we have to learn from it, the lessons, right? However, what we don't learn from history is that bullshit line, my biggest pet peeve, which is those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it. That is the biggest line of bullshit that has ever been. And I'll tell you the many reasons why that is a line of bullshit, okay? One is it isn't just the people who don't study it who get doomed, right? Doomed. We all get doomed. There's a lot of people who study history who are like, fuck, look, right here, we're doing this shit again. Remember this part? We're going to do doomed again. We're doing it all over again. I studied it. We're on Twitter. Fuck, we're doing it again. Unless the people at the levers of power, right, study history, we all get doomed, okay? The other thing that you miss with something like those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it is that makes history what it also is, which is an excellent instruction manual to doom. Right? You think you read it and then go, okay, I won't do that then. Fantastic. Many more people go, so you restrict the means of production, right? You make people hungry, you make them scared, and then they'll do whatever you fucking want. The history books tell you that, and they tell you it over and over again. So that is not the shit we learn from history. What we learn, I think, is perspective. Because perspective is the most important, right? If you zoom way in on one 24-hour period in France during World War II, you can fill a library, man, right? And if you zoom out on battles on European soil, that fucking day doesn't fucking matter, right? And you know it. So this is what history actually has to teach us. You can write it down, or I'll tell you every single time I see you from now on. A win is never forever. A loss is never a forever loss. Your enemies will be your allies. Your friends will fuck you. The world is a meat grinder. And the only person you can ever trust is your mama. Unless you're a royal. That's it. Thank you again for tuning in and helping to make HILF's debut season a huge success. Thousands of you have listened, and your messages, shares, and reviews have meant the world to us, and they worked. We will be back for Season 2 starting September 7th, 2022. While we're down, however, we are not dark. Follow and subscribe at HILF Podcast for live updates from my upcoming field trip to Italy. I know. I will be traveling from Venice to the Amalfi Coast over 2 weeks with my husband and 4-year-old daughter. And I'm already overpacked with books about Pompeii. I know, right? That place with the people who turned into statues while they were hugging or jerking off. You know the place. It's going to be nuts. Now, in the meantime, be a real mother hilfer and rate, review, maybe share your favorite episode. And please reach out to us. Got a guest or subject you think I must know about? Tell me. Best way is to message me on social media or email hilfpodcast@gmail.com. Till then, have a great summer, and remember, history's a party, and everybody's coming.